Hello and welcome back to Machinery Nation. We bring out videos every Tuesday and Friday all about tools and machinery. And today we are going to look at the new STIHL MSA220. Yes, they have upgraded it. We are also going to compare it against the MSA300. Yes, the biggest battery chainsaw on the market, as well as their smallest one, the MSA120. So please do a massive favour and click that subscribe button, as well as ring the bell and the like button. Right, let's crack on.
Tested by Machinery Nation.
Right, so what is different about this saw compared to the previous version? Well, let's start at the bar and chain, because it's got a completely new bar and chain. Firstly, it's running the Light 04 bar, which is very common now on all STIHL professional products. It's been a very popular piece of equipment and an accessory to a lot of chainsaws, and so many people are now asking for this bar, so I think it's a great improvement. It's also got an uprated chain. So it's now got a pro chain on it. Why have they done this? Because it's given the saw 20% better cutting performance, which for one, that means it cuts better. Great news. But also you can get more cuts out of a battery charge. So they recommend the AP300S battery for this saw, which is a lumpy battery. It's quite weighty, but it gives you the power you need to be able to do the jobs you require. And now with that bar and chain on it, I think that is a great added feature. I think the most important new part for me is that they've actually got a proper trigger and throttle on here now. So I'll take the battery out just in case it's not clipped in. So before, you had the trigger underneath like other saws, like petrol saws, but you had the button on the side. You had to press the button and then pull the trigger in. Whereas now this is like a petrol saw, so you hold down the top dead man's trigger, dead man's handle, whatever you want to call it, down there, and then you can pull in the trigger. Definitely big improvement. Love it, because it feels more like a petrol saw or a chainsaw should do. Also, the design. They have brought the design in line with the MSA300. Definitely, when they brought the MSA300 out, you could definitely see things were changing, because not only have they updated the MSA220, they've also updated the MSA160 and the MSA200 to the same design and specifications as this. So you'll see a completely new range of saws from STIHL. I believe they're going to be available from February-ish. That's in the UK. The rest of the world, I have no idea, so just have to contact your local STIHL dealer to find that out. But as you can see from the saw, it is beautiful. They've definitely made some really big improvements, and that's what you can see from the outside. On the inside, they have updated the electronics, but not necessarily to be able to make the saw better for the user, but to comply with a lot of different standards and things. So it is different on the inside as well as it is the outside. Right, let's see what the difference is between this and the MSA300. So what's different between these two? Well, it's the size. Yes, it is. The MSA300 is definitely a bigger saw, a bigger unit than the 220. And the MSA300 weighs in at 5.4 kilograms compared to 3.1 kilograms. That's without the battery. So by the time you put the AP300 or the AP500 in this one, then it's going to increase the weight again. But as a more sort of standard, sort of equivalent petrol weighted saw, the MSA20 definitely comes out on top there. But the MSA300 has a lot more features. One, being a proper anti-vibration system, so if you are using it for long periods, you're definitely going to notice a difference with the 300. Although battery saws don't have the vibration like petrol saws do, but obviously things are still going round. There's still vibration there to be able to, give you white finger and things over a long period. So obviously big vibration system on here. That's a big part of this saw. It's also got, on this side, a very different chain tensioner. So the MSA220, as the previous model did, has a toolless chain tensioner. Yes, just the little wheel there, you can turn and tighten it up. Whereas the 300 has a proper two nuts and a proper chain tensioner, captive nuts as well, may I say. Because in my personal opinion, I prefer this. It's been around for however long chainsaws have been around for. It works, it's solid, it doesn't have any issues. Not saying that this has issues, I just prefer that. This is great. To be fair, when we do videos where we've got like 10 saws to put together in one video, and you feel like you're going to be, oh no, I've got 10 saws to assemble in PDI, these are an absolute lifesaver because that takes longer, but that is more secure, and I think the longevity of it is a lot better and less to go wrong. Less moving parts. On the back end of the saws, we have not a lot. You just got your trigger on the back of the 220, whereas on the 300 you have got a proper cockpit style. Brake on, battery in, turn that on. You've got your cockpit lights, you've got everything there to be able to show you what's going on with the saw. You can change your speeds, you can turn it on and off, everything's there. It does work also as sort of dead man's handle. After a few seconds of not using it, you've then got to press that button again to get this button to flash green, and then pull that back so it tells you your brake is on, whereas this one is all a little bit more manual. On the other end of the saw, we have got the oil, and the one thing that these two saws do share is the oil caps, exactly the same oil caps. But on the new 220, and I really like this, you've got a very visible oil reservoir. So the whole sort of part of the crankcase is now sort of see-through, so you can see right into the oil tank from sort of any level. And the most important thing about a battery saw is remembering to fill it up with oil, because with a petrol saw, every time you fill it up with petrol, you fill it up with oil. And generally a saw will use 2/3 oil to 1 tank of petrol, so you need to do it every time. With a battery saw, theoretically you think you just do that when you change the battery, but it's not. You know, your can and your oil go together with petrol, so the more visible the oil reservoir, the better. So yeah, definitely like that. The MSA300, as you can see, has got a bigger bar, 18 inch or up to 18 inch on the 300, up to 14 inch on the 220. And the chain speed of the 220 is 24 meters per second maximum. Can't change it. The 300 is also 24 meters per second, but you can put up into high speed, so you can do 30 meters per second. So yes, it will cut a lot faster, but you can also put that down to 20 if you don't want full power and you've just got a few basic jobs to do, or you want your battery to last longer and it's not all about speed, because not everything's about speed, but we'll see how they perform later on, because we'll put that on in 24 meters per second, so in the middle mode, and that on 24 meters per second, and see how they get on, see if they're the same. But then we'll put that in 30 meters per second and it should go whap, but we'll find out. So yeah, big differences, but yeah, size-wise, weight-wise, but there are lots of different features. Right, let's grab the little baby saw and see what's different between that and this. So it does seem to be one of those days where it's all about size, because now the 220 looks huge compared to the 120. And the 120 was, I think, was the first battery saw that STIHL came out with. It is their smallest domestic chainsaw, just for home use, around the garden, doing a bit of pruning, maybe the odd log or two, but mainly just real basic tasks. Whereas the 220 has been brought out for farmers, landowners, possible council, local authorities, things like that, more sort of basic, not so frequent tasks, but ones that sort of live in the back of a vehicle and they get used when they need to get used. Whereas the 300 we looked at just now is more professional, so people are using them every day for tasks. It could be for a fencing contractor, it could be for someone doing hedge laying, it could be doing for someone who's a carpentry or like, you know, big frames or oak frame buildings. People are using them in more professional settings, not necessarily someone who's going to be going into a wood or a forest or however you want to describe it all day long and going, I need 50 batteries to do a day's work. To be fair, I don't think they're quite there yet with it, but who knows what's to come in the future, so stay tuned, stay tuned. But anyway, the MSA120 is a little baby saw. Main difference other than size, obviously weight-wise, going to be very different again, because this is just, there's no weight to this at all. And to be fair, I think if there's any lighter it would be dangerous because you could just use it one-handed. Now, main difference, two different styles of batteries, still have many different battery systems. This is AP, so this is sort of the more professional style of battery. So if you've got sort of more of an oblong or rectangle battery, that's in their sort of bigger range, more professional range of products. Whereas the AK range, sort of more squarer battery, depends how you want to do a square, but we'll call it square for the time being. The AK range of batteries, this is an AK20, goes in their domestic products where they've got only 14 different products in the range, trimmers, small lawnmowers, long reach head trimmers, things like that, just real basic, normal garden maintenance equipment. Lovely little range, great little product. And again, on here, we have quick chain tensioner on here. It's very, very similar design, to be quite honest. They've kept that very similar right across their range of toolless chain tensioners. It's fairly robust, it can't really go wrong. Again, yes, I do prefer my nuts, but on the small domestic saws, it makes a lot of sense because people who don't use them very often, use saws very often, this makes it a lot easier for them to be able to tension the chain properly. Because what is a slack chain? Yep, it's a dangerous chain. So there we are, little baby saw, mid-range saw. I think I've done enough waffling, you've probably heard enough. I think it's time to go out and give them a go and see what the cutting performance is like and how different they are. Right, let's crack on. Right, I've got this massive, great big piece of 12-inch oak, and I'm gonna try and tackle it with a 12-inch 120. To be fair, I don't think it's going to do it, but we'll give it a go just to see what's going on, and then we'll try the other two saws in 24 meters per second and then put against the 300 at 30 meters per second to see what the difference is. Right, this one first, let's do it. Here it goes, right. It done it, and it's quite smooth as well actually. But yeah, I had to baby that through to get it through. Right, let's try the 220 MS220C with the AP300S battery. Let's see how quick this one is. A lot quicker than the 120 anyway. Let's try the 300 in 24 meters per second in the middle setting. MSA300 with the AP500 battery, 500S battery in middle setting. Turn it on, middle setting. So should be 24 meters per second. Let's do it, see if it's any quicker than that one. Hang on, there we go. A definite difference, and that's in 24 meters per second. Right, let's try this one now in 30 meters per second. Whew, try not to hit the tripod this time, eh? On and... Oh, that is some weapon. Wow. Right, let's do another one. 30 meters per second. Oh, turn it on again, James. 220. 220 again. I love it. It's great. Right, let's try and square up this log a bit actually. Put it under a bit of pressure. Oh no, see, it's stalled out. If you put it under a bit of pressure, it does stall out. So really a bit of pressure. There we go. It comes out. Comes back out the wood, starts right back up again. Like I say, that new trigger system on the side, once you press the side button and then you've got your triggers, that makes such a difference because, like I said before, it feels so much more like a petrol saw. Oh, I love it. Oh, one more cut on this one. nice. That is nice. I like it. Just for what's and giggles, we'll put this down to the lowest speed, which is 20 meters per second. Oh, I better turn it on. There we go. This is the lowest speed. Now middle speed. So now that's 20 meters per second. This is 24 meters per second. And now 30 meters per second. You can certainly tell the difference, eh? Right. Whew, love it. Oh, nice. Right. Bearing in mind, this is oak. It is a hard wood. It's not just some softwood. So you think if that was in softwood, how quick that'll be going through as well. Nice. I love that. Right. I'm just too happy here. I'm too happy here. I want to do another one with the MSA220. MSA220. Right. Do you know what? That is the perfect hedge laying saw. Absolutely perfect. I really like that. Really like that. The weight's right, the power seems right. Much better now with the new chain and bar on. Visible oil tank on it. It's nice. It's really nice. Be interesting to see how much you'd get out of one. So we might do another video where we test to see how many cuts you get out of this. Actually, why don't I go hedge laying? That's a good idea. Anyway, I think hopefully this video has shown you what the difference is between STIHL smaller saw, their bigger saw, and their latest saw, the MSA220C, because it's always nice to see what different saws can do, especially in the battery ranges. Everyone's still new to it, everyone's still learning all about it and what's going on. To be fair, I'm really surprised to see the differences between each saw. Josh has already used this saw in another video where he compared this saw against a load of other 14-inch chainsaws on the market, and this one done pretty well, so it's definitely worth watching that. The link is at the end in just a second. So anyway, please like, share and subscribe to our channel. We're Machinery Nation. We bring out tool and machinery videos every Tuesday and Friday, so stay tuned, stay subscribed, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheerio.